In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
We have a weird one coming out of Mexico. This was actually captured by a couple of friends who live in an area that's known as a ranchero or a ranch area. They spotted this unidentified being or creature hiding behind a pole. But the thing is, they have no idea what this is. Nor do I. We easily want to say a duende or a gnome in English, but it looks like a little person or a black-eyed child. This thing is so creepy, and I truly have no idea what type of cryptid it could fall under. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think this is.
A la verga, güey, ¿qué es eso, güey? Esa mierda. A la mierda. A la verga, güey, ¿qué es eso, güey? Esa mierda. A la mierda.
I cannot tell what that is, but I would have to throw a rock at it or something.
Do not ignore this, your house could be next. People are freaking out about this trend that involves young kids just going around kicking people's doors down. This was a joke but has escalated quite severely around the world and has led to a lot of people being arrested recently. This trend happened back in 2022, but it's back now in the big old 25 and it's worse than ever. Remember back in the day you used to go and ding dong ditch on a house for a laugh? Well, now people are going and literally trying to kick people's doors down and see if they can get away in time, and some people are turning up with some accessories as well. There has been hundreds, if not thousands, of reports of this across the US in the last week, and in the UK as well, with warnings in the UK being issued by Thames Valley Police saying trend about door kicking, so keep your wits about you. I think the reason this is happening is simply for a TikTok trend for people to get videos and post it because it's funny. On social media though, a lot of people think this isn't bad whatsoever and it's literally just ding dong ditch, it's not bad at all. But for one, it's terrifying that you're having your door kicked in the middle of the night, but also for these kids, all it takes is them to kick in the wrong door and it could end pretty badly for them, especially in America, you know?
That is such a horrible trend. In what world do you think that that's a fun or good idea? Now, here in South Carolina, I have not heard of anyone doing this yet. I cannot imagine anyone where I live would do this. I'm pretty certain the children around here would just get a whooping for them thinking about doing it.
Yeah, I told y'all that thing in Kansas isn't a moth, and someone else caught one of these on camera. This person was pulling into their house and there is something hanging on the window. And here's where it gets weird. It actually jumps down. It is human-like and it runs into the woods. You can see it hanging there with the horns, all that stuff. It jumps down, runs into the woods. Now, if this is a person, how is it hanging on the window like that for so long? And why does it look like that? It almost looks like a deer. And just like the video I shared the other day, it has the horns, the whole 9 yards. It's hanging off the side of a building. And then it jumps down and runs across this person's yard like nobody's business. I'm just freaking out because this is the second one. The second one caught on video. What are these things? Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments.
I'm pretty certain you guys know my thoughts on this one. And what in the world does she have on her eyes?
The Nazca mummy autopsy and CT scans have just been revealed, and what it shows is that their anatomy doesn't really fit in any textbook that we have on Earth. And if this was fake, the CT scans would reveal that. In 2025, a retired radiologist with over 40 years of experience performed a virtual autopsy on this body using a hospital-grade CT imaging. No physical dissection, just thousands of X-ray slices and a lot of questions. The body was naturally dried, not artificially mummified. Inside, everything was connected. The bones, joints, soft tissue, even internal organs. More importantly, the scans showed biological responses to injury, bleeding, healing and structural changes. This tells us this was once a living biological being. The first thing that people noticed, the hands. 3 fingers, 3 toes. But here's the key, this isn't amputation or deformation. Each digit has full bones, joints, ligaments and spacing that don't match known human anatomy. CT scans show the structure is internally consistent all the way down. The skull raises even more questions. There's no visible cranial sutures, they're fused. The eye sockets are large, widely spaced. There are no external ears and no external ear canals. And the opening where the spine meets the skull, called the foramen magnum, is shaped differently than in modern humans. Now here's the part even skeptics pause on. CT scans showed metal implants, one over each shoulder and a collar-like implant behind the neck. But the critical detail, new bone has grown into the neck implant. This only happens if the implant was placed whilst the body was alive. The scans also reveal catastrophic injuries, a deep penetrating wound on the neck damaging the spine. There was a massive internal bleeding, collapsed lung and partially collapsed heart. The radiologist concluded that the cause of death was severe trauma and blood loss. The researchers say this body does not match any known human syndrome. They don't claim to know what it is, only that it doesn't fit what we currently understand. So the real question is, what is Sebastian? It's how many chapters of our past might be still missing. The scans still don't tell us exactly what this is, but just reminds us that this is a real being that walked among us at one time, and there's multiple of them and more keep being found in Peru. And it kind of reminds us that we don't really know as much as we like to think, and we're constantly being surprised and having to rewrite our story as a whole, mate. So I will keep you up to date, so stay tuned for part 2, mate. I will dive a little bit deeper, and you guys let me know what you think down below.
There's supposedly DNA samples that they're testing on this. I am really curious to know what comes back from it, so hopefully we'll have a good follow-up on this. Let me know what you guys think about the Nazca Mummy. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
We need answers. What is this even supposed to be? Listen to me closely. We have not seen the sun in 10 days on the East Coast, but instead, this right here was my view when I was leaving the studio last night, and it looks 100 times worse in person than it does on the video. What is all this stuff? And it's much more than this. Also, the sun is randomly changing the time that it sets. Look at all this stuff flying by the camera last night. What is this supposed to be? We will get to the sun and the moon in a minute, but 10 days, literally counting 10 days since right after Thanksgiving, we've had no sun. I mean, how long do you think humans can go without the sun? People are falling apart. Depression, brain fog, not feeling good, everything. Someone in charge, answer the question. Wasn't some guy supposed to do something weird? Like, what is this? And what are these molecules supposed to be? And completely unrelated, people are noticing that in different spots, the sun is setting an hour later than it normally does. A differential of a few minutes is normal, and that's what it's supposed to be. Not 30 minutes to an hour. See this chart. And it's crazy because the comments are literally harassing this lady like, oh, don't you know anything? Get educated. Yeah, the facts are a few minutes of differential, not an hour. And the craziest part, while enduring this mist all over the US for some reason for 10 days, we have things like this, 2 moons showing up one behind the other. Last night, 3 a.m. I'm getting sick of this.
Hey, I live in South Carolina, and I'm pretty certain I live within an hour's drive from this guy, and within the last 10 days, we've definitely had the sun. Granted, it has been a little dreary, but there has been sun, and it has popped up, and it's warmed it up a bit, at least in my area in South Carolina. And really, as far as feeling bad, I have not felt too bad after Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving, I was not feeling that great, but after, I seem to be fine, at least for me. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel after Thanksgiving, if you guys have seen the sun, all that good stuff.
These are the worst places you could live in the entire UK. If you live in any of these, I feel terrible for you. First of all is Bognor Regis, which is a beautiful seaside town right on the south coast. It did actually used to be a very nice, populated town, but nowadays it is nothing of the sort. It's actually the most dangerous town in West Sussex, with a crime rate of 138 crimes per 1,000 people. And the sea just looks absolutely stunningly. Combine that with the fact that it literally does have shit in the water now because of the sewage pipes which have been leaking into the water, so you don't want to be swimming in there. It's got an Iceland in the town, so that's not good. One did a Walter White in the cinema there recently, which isn't great, and they uncovered a huge stash, yeah, literally inside the cinema, so not ideal. Now, Croydon is one of the places you probably think is actually the most dangerous place in the UK, but surprisingly it's not. It's still bad though. Crime rate here is around 38.5 crimes in every 1,000 people, which is a lot less than Bognor, and it just looks terribly run down. Not ideal. There is a lot of violent crimes here, so that's not ideal. Holiday, and just in case you want to go on holiday there, but not sure why you'd want to do that. No, there's a lot worse than this. We're going to be going through the list, so hit that follow button and comment down below where you're from.
I'm not from the UK, but South Carolina has some pretty similar traits.
A new non-invasive imaging technique could replace finger pricks for people with diabetes because MIT engineers have shown that they can accurately measure blood glucose by shining near-infrared light on the skin, as you can see in this image of a mock-up of the device, where a patient simply lays their arm on a cube and it tells them their blood glucose. Now, we're going to get into it in the article, but a lot of this has to do with taking a machine like that and reducing it in size to something more akin to like a standard Fitbit watch, so that instead of constant finger pricks, diabetics, one of the most common diseases on the planet, can instead just get infrared light shined on their arms. The MIT team used a technique called Raman spectroscopy, which is a technique that reveals the chemical composition of tissues by shining near-infrared light on them. However, to make this device shoebox sized was very, very challenging. So I'm going to skip to the end here to where we talk about how we created the device. I think the solution was pretty clever. The MIT team found a way to filter out much of the unwanted signal from measuring all the compounds in all the tissues by shining near-infrared light on the skin at a different angle from which they collected before, where there was too much data, only resulting in the Raman signal, which I think was very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, of all the light they were shining, they were able to create a smaller device by analyzing just 3 bands, or spectral regions, in the Raman spectrum to look for certain molecular features, so they were able to get it a little bit more specific. As the scientists say, by refraining from acquiring the whole spectrum, which has a lot of redundant information, we go down to 3 bands out of about 1,000. With this new approach, we can change the components commonly used in Raman-based devices, save space, save time, and save on cost. And of note, we've talked about this, blah, blah, blah. This device is accurate. It accurately measures your blood sugar, which if you're a diabetic and you've been constantly pricking your fingers over and over and over again for years, this is going to be a blessing. It's finally going to give your skin and fingertips some relief from the pain of small needles. And I think it'll be really cool maybe to just have something like this baked into a Fitbit.
Hey, if it's accurate, that's a great invention. I am not diabetic, but my mother was. And that's one thing that I hated to witness, was the pricking of the fingers. I myself am not a big fan of needles. And I always said if I became diabetic for whatever reason, hey, I'm just gonna let nature do its thing because I'm not taking insulin shots.
The universe is like a mirror, as you've always heard me say. It's going to reflect your frequency back at you. Frequency is not just wishful thinking. People think, well, I can just, you know, if I start thinking and focusing on it hard enough, you know, I can create this alternate reality, or I can make this thing manifest. And so if your frequency is in chaos, is in fear, anxiety, depression, doubt, and negative thoughts on a consistent basis, the universe is going to hold up a mirror and it's going to reflect it right back on you. And what you're going to be able to see or receive at that moment in time is going to be more negativity, doubt, fear, depression, anxiety.
It's always a surprise to see a good old Billy Carson video pop up on the feed. Honestly, when it comes to this kind of content, I do not mind it. I also believe if you vibe in a negative way, negativity is going to vibe back. It's just so hard to not be negative or have a negative vibe when we're in a world that's just so full of negativity. But as I always say, that's not going to stop me from having a good day.
Is Zach Brown literally showing the entire world that your eyes are portals and how music affects one's brain? If you guys believe that your eyes are portals, you're going to want to see this. The first thing they show you is this large red door with scratch marks all over it. It literally reminded me of the movie Insidious. You guys keep that plot at the forefront of your brain. They travel you through the keyhole of this red door, and you see this little boy laying in bed. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and he turns his radio on, and he's projected. The little boy sits up, and it's almost like he's in a trance state. The music enters his left eye and travels through all the neurons in his brain. As the music's frequency slithers around the neurological pathways, you begin to see portals. Portals of times past, fragmented memories, even trauma, while hearing whispers of demonic entities. Then the next thing you know, that little boy is transported to the red door. Where does that red door lead, you might wonder? Well, the pits of hell, where the door opens up and the crowd is literally surrounded by millions of demons who are making up the chains that hold them prisoner. Remember guys, this is all in the little boy's mind. Now I said in my previous video that these visuals kind of reminded me of Stranger Things. Where was the battle? In their mind. Vecna kind of worked like a parasitic demon, didn't he? When he wanted to target a victim, he would throw their consciousness into a psychic mind state. It kind of reminds me of Freddy Krueger or Venom, wouldn't you say? So you guys tell me, are they putting truth in plain sight, or am I reaching here? And is this a representation of how all of us should be a little bit more careful of what we let enter our minds?
I guess it's been a long time since I've listened to the Zac Brown Band. The last I heard of Zac Brown Band, he was singing about a cold beer on a Friday night and a pair of jeans that fit just right. I'll probably get copyrighted for quoting those lyrics. But that's what I remember of the Zac Brown Band. Is this a totally different band? What in the world does this stage setup have to do with that type of music? Or have they totally changed their style? No, I just went to their stuff. It seems to be fairly the same. That stage definitely did not seem to fit the country style. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that they're trying to put the truth in plain sight? And if not, what is this music video even? I have not heard the song. I've not watched the video personally. I really don't plan on it.
Oriole's freaking out, guys. There's somebody sitting there. He doesn't want to go by it. That's alright, come on. Come on, Oriole. That was crazy.
That dog definitely seems spooked about that bench. Also, another thing, around the 26-second mark, you can faintly hear the word come back, like it's being whispered loudly. I don't know if that's just one of the people in the hallway saying come back to the dog, but it does sound very whisper-like. I'll add it back in video editing so you can hear it better just in case you missed it.
That's alright, come on.
Alright y'all, so Balenciaga. Yesterday I did a video about short-lived conspiracies. Conspiracies that seem to take over the whole internet and then all of a sudden they just disappear. And to me, Balenciaga was one of them. It actually happened 2 times with them. They had teddy bears dressed like they were going to a Berlin warehouse dungeon, and the teddy bears in this campaign were being held by kids. The internet collectively screamed, "Who approved this?" And Balenciaga acted shocked like they just discovered the photos at the same time the rest of us did. And then people were boycotting and burning shoes and cutting up bags. And then shortly after that, they dropped another campaign featuring a desk with scattered papers, and on that desk was a Supreme Court ruling. And that case happens to be the United States versus Williams 2008, which is a case dealing with CP. And you feel like you should have some kind of PR firm looking over things after the last scandal. And this was just the start of the things in these photos. People were finding all kind of things hidden inside of it. Art books that lead back to very sinister stuff. That's the nicest way I can say what was inside these art books. The high fashion world is already extremely creepy to me anyways, but you had all these major celebrities and influencers who had brand deals with this company, and all of them all at the same time came out and said, I cannot in good conscience support this brand anymore. You know, and then those same people who said I stand with the children in all caps were now clapping and sipping champagne under a 30-foot LED runway. Because stuff like this can let you know that money can buy away your morals apparently. But this kind of stuff has had me thinking. I'm going to do a whole series about short-lived conspiracies. Because if there's one thing that I've learned is that scandals don't really end, they just wait for the next product to drop. But y'all should really dive down this rabbit hole. These folks operate in a world we're never going to step our foot into, and every time we get a peek inside it just looks a little darker.
This will probably be a really fun series to listen to. I'm really curious of what short-lived conspiracies are out there. Aside from the Wayfair incident and the Balenciaga, I'm not really certain of any other short-lived conspiracies. The Chinese spy balloon is kind of a short-lived conspiracy, but it was actually confirmed by China that that was their balloon. At least that's what the narrative is saying. But let me know in the comments, what other short-lived conspiracies are you aware of that maybe we can bring to this guy's attention? That would be pretty cool. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. I would also like to say, welcome to the new time change. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that I normally upload at 9 AM in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. But this is the first video that I've released at 10 PM. Big time difference. And it's not a guarantee that I'm going to keep it this way forever. I may change back to it next week. I'm just really curious to see how YouTube handles this and what the metrics will look like. It's more of a personal thing just to see what metrics do on the YouTube side of things, just out of curiosity really. And another really cool aspect of this upload schedule, at least I think it's cool, is I like to react to freshly uploaded content, meaning that most of the videos that I react to have been uploaded within the last 24 hours. And if I can get them under 12, that's even better. I really like current content. And what I like about this upload schedule is that by me reacting to these videos, that's basically just been uploaded today. And with me uploading this video today, you guys get to see what I seen the same day I seen it. And I don't know why, that's just really cool to me. Because with my normal or my old schedule, uploading at 9 a.m. in the morning leaves a huge gap of time from the time that I reacted to the clips and when that video is uploaded. For example, I may react to a video today that quotes today's date, which is December 8th of 2025. With my old upload schedule, my video would come out the day after I recorded everything, and it would be December 9th of 2025. But in the video, the guy's talking about December 8th, and I don't like that. That kind of bothers me. I don't know why. Call it autism, whatever it may be. But with this method, I'm giving you same day content that I react to, and I just think that that's really cool. But if this 10 p.m. upload schedule aligns more with you, please let me know in the comments, or if you preferred the 9 a.m. schedule. Either way, if today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.